I think.
Did you see the YouTube metrics, though?
Yeah. Good afternoon. Welcome to Match Day. And my name is Vince. I took a week off. Thank you, boss, for letting me go on vacation. We have Ian. And I was in beautiful Jackson Hole, Wyoming last week with my family. But now I need a vacation from my vacation. But thanks to all for being on. And I think, Ian, today we're just going to show some tactical quizzes. And
you've been gone for a week, so I need to catch you up on a few things that our loyal listeners. So I lost you. I lost Samantha because she went and had a baby. But I made up with Alex and Casey. Alex came in with half a haircut, but he was wearing a Chelsea shirt, so Molly just gave him all kinds of problems.
Oh yeah.
And then the other thing we need to do very clearly now is last week during the Liverpool-Man City game, I suggested that nobody chat into the box what the score was in case people were recording it, and somebody immediately said the score. So Spurs-Everton, you can get back to the second half. Trust me and Vince to get you back there, but don't tell each other the score because we have some people. So there you go. How many states were you in last week?
I was in 4 states.
They were all beautiful.
I don't know if you count driving through a state as, I don't know if that counts, but
I count that. Landing a plane and just being at the airport, that doesn't count.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay. All right. So then 3, because I was in Arizona. So, and Alex is on, by the way. He says Chelsea's his favorite team. Mm-hmm. All right. So I have created some tactical diagrams, and then we're also going to talk about our new our new format. Or alternative format for development courses. So I'm going to put up do I put the slides up first and then the poll or vice versa? I can't remember.
I'll build the poll. You get the slide decks. Oh, it's the polls are there, so you got them. So if you put the slide deck up, then you can start the poll.
Yeah. Okay. So here are 2 tactical scenarios. We're going to do the first one.
I'll put the whiteboard up.
Yep. So, and if anybody wants the deck or the PDF, let me know, and I'm more than happy to send it to them. So, okay. So this is an attacking scenario, and basically this is one from our old tactics quiz series that we had years ago. That was made years ago, and I just kind of manipulate a little bit. But so we're going to launch the poll. So for all those on the other end. Oh, sorry. Did I screw up? Here we go. Okay, let's try again. So for all those on the other end, basically Ian has put the arrow on the player that we're talking about. So the attacking players in the flank area. Considering what you see, the reds are the defending team. The triangles are the attacking team. Would the best option be to play it back to the outside back? That would be A. B, pass it into more of a central midfield player. That might be maybe it's a 10. And then C, kind of take a touch with the right foot and hit an outswinger all the way over to C, to the back post. Or D, dribble to the end line. So all those that are on the other side, you can go ahead and it says there's no poll.
I just started it.
Okay, good. All right, so there we go. So we got B. Looks like we've got several. Oh, Alex says now there is.
So this one's kind of interesting because look at the 4 blues there and 4 blues there. So they haven't exactly got a lot of people in the penalty box right now.
None.
So we've got 3 or 4 people have had a vote. So I'll go through mine. I like A, circulating the ball, retaining possession. Yeah. He's pretty unmarked. There's a lot of good things could happen with A. B, again, he's in pretty good space. We get the ball central. We maybe play these 3 guys out of the play a little bit. So like that.
Yep.
C, I would say is a little bit lower percentage, because you still got this red defender that could drop in.
Yep.
And obviously, it does mean the goalie has to shift. And if he got in, then he's going to pretty much root to goal. if you're tricky and you're left-footed and you want to do that, that's great. But I think you'd run into a whole lot of problems here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
based on the disposition of these 8 players here, not in the box yet, my preference, I think, would probably be to go to there or there.
Yep.
And then allow these guys a little bit of time to hit the box, and then maybe these guys to come up in behind. I think D is too low percentage, and C's a home run ball. But I think to develop more players and a better goal scoring opportunity, Pep Guardiola would choose A or B. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. When I looked at the original diagram and then I, edited it for this purpose, I was looking at the possibility of C, but to me that has to be. I mean, that's a pinpoint serve. Like it's got to be like Beckham, right? Just take a touch and whip it, on his right foot. I think A and B gives you a little bit more opportunity, like you said, to kind of keep the ball, retain it, because you have no one in the box right now. So, yeah, but like I said, there's no wrong answer.
If he's left-footed,
yep,
then playing that ball right-footed is pretty tough, and he's not going to play out the outside of his left.
Right.
If he's left-footed, he's going to drive to the line and cross it. So probably only one of D and C is even an option unless he's a really, really two-footed player.
Yep. No, that's it. It's good. All right. So let's move on. Let's do poll. I'll have you start the next poll. All right. So we have a defending scenario. So the red circle, is the player in question. So you can see that they're defending the ball, but not really tight. So the question is, after the ball is played. So that's the key, right? So the ball's been passed. So where does this player now run? In other words, should they run? A would just be to just drop back, right? And just kind of drop back and delay. B would be to drop diagonally and step into the passing lane to kind of block a return pass, right, to the winger that's busting down the sideline or the touch line. Or C, do you bump the runner, turn, and go with the runner? In other words, so you're running forward. So, and I specifically put in there after a 15-yard pass. And so it's kind of it's a longer pass. It's not like a quick little 1-2. But it's kind of a longer, medium type pass, short to medium pass. And so that's the question. Now, you do have a left back. You do have a center back. You can see the center back, though, is occupied with the, with the other team's striker. So that's a little bit of a factor in here. And the fact that no one really is here to pressure that player. So, I'll go ahead and let's see what we got. So it looks like we got quite a few for B.
Neil has got the proviso, the word yeah, absolutely. The challenge with all of these is they're not moving, right? So that's why we don't really believe there's any right or wrong, but I think they're kind of interesting. Yes. I will share, because we've had a few polls now. Oh, we've got exclusively B. Interesting. So what I can say is, certainly as a defender, been in that position many, 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 many times. And what's the real problem? And I know Alex, our 11-year-old is a defender right now. Is you see the ball go that way, but you're aware of this guy's movement on the other side.
Yes.
And I would have been trained that if there was no player here,
right,
I would make the C run every time. Yep. I bump, and even though he's not running with the ball, I run across him and prevent him getting it back. So if there is no cover, it is C every time, just the way I was trained.
Yep.
But and this is a big if, right? Because if this guy doesn't communicate and you do make the C run, now you've got two guys marking a guy who hasn't got the ball. So this is a good one for kids, because communication would be key here. Stepping just back is just passive, so I'm not sure what A would achieve. But for me, because we've got this player, maybe a number 6, we've got our back 4 intact, and certainly the runner is dealt with by my outside back, I really like B, because I can probably get between the ball and the goal, which I really like, and I'm thickening up the center of the park. And from there, if he were to kick it, if I get to where the B position is and he kicks it back out there, I think we're probably better off than we were before, or at least there's no harm, no foul. So I would tend to agree with our audience and their massive response, 100%. But I like that one because I really have that image in my head of turning on my shoulder to go with a runner as the ball goes the other side. So I like that one. It's a nice one.
Yeah, especially like in the flank area. And I think if it was, like you mentioned, if the left back wasn't there, right? If this player wasn't there, then that totally changes the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, and I remember watching Shellis Hyman in a clinic once he did with the FC Dallas players, and he was doing pressure cover, and he said a couple things. He said, if it's a short pass, jump back and get into the passing lane. So that'd be B. If it's a longer pass, so if this player plays a longer pass, maybe it's into here, right? So that'd be a longer pass, then turn and go with the runner. And his rationale is that basically you can run faster going forward, right? And you can still bump the player. So if it's a short pass, jump in the passing lane. If it's a longer pass, turn and go with the runner. So, and I remember, I know that this is a pretty common scenario for that, area of the field. But the key is, like you said, communication and everybody talking with each other. So, okay, well, that's good. So let's move on, and then let's go ahead and I'm going to give it off to you to talk about the developmental courses in our alternative format.
So I know some of you are club leaders, and I know some of you actually are sitting on college players and high school players that you coach. And then even Alex, as an 11-year-old, this could apply to you. These are our development courses, the 4, the 7v7, and the 11v11, because that's the current format. And we teach those in typically a 3 to 4 or 5 hour course. We go to a club. The club very often just signs up all the coaches, or sometimes the coaches sign themselves up individually. We do a nice classroom. We give a very nice colored manual, about 84 pages that Vince has written, one for each course. And then the payoff is we go out on the field, and either those coaches pretend they're 4v4, 7v7, 9v9, or 11v11 players, or we bring in a demo team of the correct age. So 4v4 is 8 and under, 7v7, 9v9 is 10 under, 12 under, and then, of course, 11v11. But with all due respect, the 11v11 is still a beginner course. It's, just basically how you line them up, basic tactics, basic techniques. So those are the courses. Unfortunately, right now, we have lots of coaches that would like to get educated, but they can't. They're not going to be allowed outside. And it's going to be difficult for clubs to put a group of coaches together on the field. So what we're doing is we're offering these courses now by the end of this week for probably $20 a coach, or the club can just sign up all of their coaches for one fee. And we're going to offer the lecture in a narrated PowerPoint. We're going to offer the 80-page manual, color manual with activities and all the lecture and all the notes, plus the roll the dice book. So you get 2 manuals, PDF. And we're going to offer 2 convention videos that go with this content. And then we're going to ask the coaches just to tell us, give us a quick feedback, maybe a quiz question or something to know that they've done it. And then they will be able to get themselves a diploma, 4v4, 7v7, 9v9, or 11v11. So Rob could get his college players through this. And if you want to follow up with an in-person, then Rob could follow up with an in-person to bring it to life in an in-person setting too with his players. The Roll the Dice manual is a really fun book that Vince wrote, which is all about only 6 kids show up to training. So here's some training games for 6, or 9 kids show up. And Vince put in a whole bunch of activities which work for weird numbers based on who shows up, which is the reality of grassroots. So we're pretty excited about this because we have lots and lots of coaches that would like to be doing something. We have lots of clubs that would like to begin to prepare their coaches until they can get outside. And we know that coaches like to get a certificate or a diploma that honors the amount of time and energy they put in. So we're going to bring these to life in an e-format. Alex, if you want to do them, you'll be like the first person to get access to the 4v4, and it'll be free for you. Because we don't normally have kids your young take them, because we wait till you're 16 for the in-person. So you might enjoy those too. And you can work through them with your dad and your mom and maybe even the little sister. So it's pretty exciting for us because Vince and I believe strongly that there's nothing that replaces in-person, but it just looks like it might be impossible indefinitely. And so rather than tell people we'll get back to you in, October, November, whenever, we're going to just keep making stuff available. So if you're interested in this, just drop Vince and I an email. We'll get it for you and your club. We can get you signed up. And it's just another way of sharing the content.
Yeah, no, it's good. I was going to share, if I can get my screen to share, I can show you a little bit of roll the dice and what it looks like. I think it's available in our online resource library, though, isn't it?
Yeah. It's in the library.
Yep. So I'll just show it real quick and just so people kind of, if you don't have it, but this is the PDF, and I'm more than happy to send people the PDF, but I wanted to share the reason why I did it. So the parent on the right of the picture here is my brother-in-law, who passed unexpectedly about 4 or 5 years ago. And he was a recreation coach, and you can kind of see here, right, it's total grassroots. And we used to, at Thanksgiving time or whenever we get together, he'd say, "Hey, Vince," he goes, what do you do when there's we got 7 kids? And so just kind of, made me think about, I think a lot of coaches have this issue. So that's kind of that's what drove the book. His name was Eric Emmerich. Actually, his niece was over at my house today. She still plays the game. It's got the Berticelli poem, which in my opinion should be in every single publication that we ever do. But for those that, that can see it. So here's 7 players, and all the activities go to goals. So, or some sort of direction. And it's they're not drills. They're all game-based activities that, look, you got 7 kids. What do you do? So that's kind of the idea of it all. And, and now I think I'm going to be inspired to make one on social distancing, right? So some physical distancing, players for 4 activities, 4 players and 6 players and 8 players. Because I think we're, doing more and more of that. So, but anyway, if anybody wants that, let me know. I'm more than happy to share that with anybody, and just email me, and I'll share the manual with you. So thanks, boss, for filling in for me last week.
Yeah, Neil makes a good point when we were talking about coaches and how many coaches are really, so I was just saying to Neil in the chat box, the membership of our organization is pretty solid, but they tend to be towards the more experienced end for awards and rankings, high school, college. And there's no doubt that volunteer coaches and some coaches that were getting paid to coach, they're losing their jobs, and there just isn't return to play. So I think, Neil, you make a good point. I think we're going to lose a lot of coaches from grassroots up that aren't going to be around. My belief is that once we have a vaccine and once people know the treatment protocols, that very quickly parent-driven youth sports and the economy of it will bounce us back. But I think you make a good point right now. Interestingly, people love e-learning though. So we've got 5 times the number of people who've gone on and looked at a course online than this time last year. So that's one thing. And then Neil makes a good point about the way we named our courses. So Alex and Casey, you might be interested. US Soccer a few years ago, about 2017, told the world that we should change in our country to 4, 7, 9, and 11. The heading rule came in then. The build out line came in then. Age group groupings, right, Vince?
Yep.
So no longer grade school, but birth year. And we saw that, and because it's just Vince and me, we were able to rewrite the content and write it for 4, 7, 9, 11, because that's what US Soccer had directed. And then about a year and a half later, US Soccer came out with their 4, 7, 9, 11 courses. And Vince and I helped them with them. I think ours are strong, very strong. Because that picture that Vince showed of his brother-in-law is exactly what we believe youth soccer looks like in America for some people. And then other times you're on a beautiful turf and all the kids have got Adidas and they all look like Alex, right? So it's not one or the other, but we certainly feel good about ours. And then Neil's got a little obituary there for the F license.
Yep, I knew that was going to go away. So, but that's all right. It was an honor, honestly, to develop it and create it for them. But
I will say this is all currently free, and even coaches experience like Rob and Casey, Neil, maybe. If you go to the e-learning suite, look at the foundations course and just play around with it and go and take the 6 chapters. And much of that stuff is the things that Vince and I did on the National Youth. It was in the old F license that Vince wrote. So, it doesn't really always matter whose badge is on it. If it's the right content, it's the right content. But the most important thing is coaching in America is different than coaching in most places in the world. And so we've written content that was for a mom and dad coach in Louisiana, a coach up in inner city Detroit, and a coach with a group of mixed language speaking kids in inner city Minneapolis. So we tried, that's for sure.
Yep. No, thank you. And thanks, Neil. I appreciate
thank you.
Your compliment. No, but thank you again, boss, for filling in for me last week, and Rob for being on, and Alex for being on, and Molly for being on. And so this week it's a little different because I didn't get a chance to set everything up like I wanted to. However, Wednesday there's a special one. Ray Gaddis, who is an outside back for the Philadelphia Union. He's going to be on. Actually, he has a game at 8 a.m. in the morning, and he's coming on at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And he's going to come on with his club coach, Isang Jacob, who was a black coach from here in Indianapolis, won the U.S. Youth Soccer National Coach of the Year. Fantastic coach. Has 3 or 4 or 5 kids, I think, from that same team that Ray was on that played in the MLS or played professionally. He's also going to be on. We're going to talk a little bit about, race and what's happening today in and around the game, but also also their relationship and maybe how Coach Jacob developed those kids. So anyway, that's going to be 4 o'clock and Eastern time on Wednesday. So thank you all very much.
Yeah, and I will say this,
and I'll let you.
Vince, thank you for getting Raymond and Isang on. I just put a link in there for the BBC. The BBC covered this Black Players of Coalition of MLS. And in England, they've always had a very strong anti-racism thing. But if you watch any EPL now, they're all over Black Lives Matter. And Raymond is right at the front of this. So so this would be a really big one to share with your friends. And Alex, you've got all those little guys who are Philadelphia Union season ticket holders. You should get them on with us as well. And then Neil, good luck with your JV high school. So Neil's going to take a break from club and go to JV high school. God bless you.
Matter of fact, I'm missing our first practice today for this, but
just to be with us.
Yeah, but I think I'll go tomorrow, and weather permitting, because it's supposed to be 95 degrees and we're on field turf, but we'll see. But anyway, all right. Well, thank you all so much, and thanks, boss, and I'll see you Wednesday.
So thanks, everybody. Bye, everybody.
Bye.